Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives from varying skill range. I am the one carrying the group through the zombie apocalypse, Andrew. With me, the one who tries to hide when he gets bitten, Keith.
Hello.
And Patient Zero herself, Liz.
Hey guys.
And this week, we played Back 4 Blood by Turtle Rock Studios. Back 4 Blood is a first-person co-op zombie survival game where you are trying to essentially get your team of 4 survivors and make it from point A to point B while doing some objectives. But going around, Liz, this is a game or a pass for you?
So I'm going to give it a game. I did like it, and there are a lot of aspects I thought were really cool, but I just had trouble getting into it. Like, I was never super thrilled to play, but I enjoyed my time with it. And the entire time, I don't know why, I kept thinking about Rainbow Six Siege and State of Decay 2. I don't know why this game kind of reminded me of them, but I love those games. But yeah, I liked it. I definitely think for multiplayer. I'll put that in too. For multiplayer.
Yeah, for me, this is definitely a game. I unfortunately didn't get as much time to commit to it as I wanted to, I guess, for the episode purposes, but it's a game I know I'm just going to play more of because I absolutely had fun with it, and it was not for lack of interest, it was just a lack of timing. But all in all, I think I'm going to pull a phrase out from our maybe it's an old one in general, but also from our prequel episode to this or whatever. Preview episode.
Yeah, our preview.
Is it scratched an itch for me. I loved the Left 4 Dead series. They were so much fun, and this is everything that game was and more, in my opinion. And so it was just a lot of fun. It we'll get into it, but it even had roguelike elements to it that I just thought were so cool in this style of game that I'm all about it. And yeah, definitely a game. I do agree with Liz. It's better with multiplayer. We're all preferential on how we play said multiplayer, but I think, yeah, definitely whether you play with some random people online or play with your friends, this is absolutely best played with friends or with people.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you guys as well. This is a definite game for me. I really enjoyed my time for Back 4 Blood. This is a lot of fun. I know me and Keith has mentioned multiple times that we really wish that there'd be a Dynasty Warriors game on Game Pass. And for me, this is kind of, I think, as close as we're probably going to get. Because I don't know if there ever will be a Dynasty Warriors game. But for me, this game was relatively mindless. And you're just like really powerful and just mowing down tons of people as they're just constantly rushing at you. And so, I mean, it can get a little frantic and you sometimes have to think. So it's not as relaxing as probably like a Dynasty Warriors. But this to me was it's just relaxing. Just being able so strong and just throwing grenades and everything and just taking out hordes of people. It's so much fun.
Isn't that weird that it was relaxing? Now that you say that, I'm thinking like, except for like there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh crap, Andrew, help me. Besides that, I thought it was relaxing.
Yeah. Well, I should say it's relaxing if you're playing on Recruit, the easiest difficulty. This game has a pretty heavy difficulty curve if you up the difficulty, which me and Keith learned pretty quick.
Yes, sir, we did.
Yeah, so for me, this is definitely a game. It's a lot of fun. So the overall story for Back 4 Blood is this takes place a year after the zombie apocalypse happened. There's this parasite that has appeared on Earth, which people believe to be kind of extraterrestrial origin, but people call it the devil worm. And it's essentially, just this parasitic worm that infests people and morphs them and turns them into these zombies, which are called ridden. And you play a group of survivors called cleaners who are a part of the 1% of people who are immune to the parasite. So your job is to essentially build up this community called Fort Hope and try to bring supplies, bring survivors, and ultimately find a way to actually fight back against the zombies. What did you guys think of the story? Did you guys even notice there was one?
Not really.
Did you guys, just me giving you the synopsis there, did you guys even know that was going on?
I didn't understand the whole parasite thing. I mean, for me, I just thought it was like, oh, there are zombies, and maybe I missed something, but I didn't think they went too much into it. But I also think, so part of me wants more of the story, but then also when you're playing multiplayer, I actually prefer not to have cutscenes and stuff when you're playing multiplayer, because then I feel bad that the other person's waiting.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the cutscenes. There's like 4, and I thought they're all really cool.
Yeah, and I think too the characters, you don't really learn much about them, or maybe there is something you can look up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's some bios you can look up.
But I like that they actually look like normal people.
Yep.
Like for me, it's like, okay, not everyone who survives the zombie apocalypse is going to be beautiful, you know. And not that they weren't beautiful. I'm just saying that they look like real people, and I thought that was kind of great, more realistic.
Yeah, no, I maybe I'm misinterpreting, but there was like actually some diversity to what it was. Like you had Mom, you had like, you know, she was an older Southern woman. You had Doc, who was an Asian doctor. I don't know if it's bad that I don't know of which descent specifically, but she would, you know.
I don't think they say what descent.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, you had an actual diversity of characters. Hoffman, just kind of this, I don't know, he seemed like he was an old professor or something.
He was a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, that's right, because he's like Alex Jones. He's raving on about, you know, turning the frogs gay, or, you know, all these weird conspiracy theories. He like he even says
he was a doomsday
media.
prepper. Yeah, he was a doomsday prepper and a conspiracy theorist. He reminded me of Dwight Schrute. I always called him Dwight.
I mean,
I love that.
Kind of, but I can't look past the Alex Jones reference.
So Liz, you made a good point that this game does not just straight up, hey, this is the story. And I mean, this is very reminiscent of Left 4 Dead. So obviously, Liz, you did not play Left 4 Dead. But Left 4 Dead, there really wasn't much of a story. It was, hey, you guys are survivors, and you're basically trying to get from point A to point B and basically survive the apocalypse. And if you actually looked around in the environment is how you learn the story. And once again, that's exactly what they did for Back 4 Blood. Every time you're in a safe room, there's scribbles on the wall of people writing messages or things that are going on. And depending what people you have on the mission, what cleaners you picked, they'll actually have banter between each other. And that's also how you get to learn how the mission is. So like if you play Hoffman, there's a forest level, and he talks about how he keeps going to this forest and looking for his missing dad in this forest. If you don't have Hoffman, you hear the survivors talk about it like, oh, Hoffman really wants to be here, but we don't know why. And so like there's this hidden story essentially. And I love that this developer is like stuck with this, because it makes it like if you're someone like Keith, you don't need a story. You just shoot zombies. But if you're someone who's like me and actually kind of want more of this universe, it's rewarding to kind of look it up and listen.
Yeah, and from the little I saw of the cutscenes, they were very nice graphically, except every time I tried to load the one from like the very first level, it just would chop its whole way through it. So I didn't really watch much of them for that reason. And like Liz was mentioning, I was typically playing multiplayer, so I just kind of skipped through them. But that's where, in a lot of ways, this game had, well, not the biggest way by any means, but in some ways for me personally, I think it felt a little roguelike that I didn't really care. I knew there was a zombie thing going on. I kind of was able to figure out that it took place after. I think actually the use of calling them cleaners was like very smart, because like from a context perspective, I kind of immediately knew that, hey, you're out here to just clean up the mess. And
yeah, you guys are professionals.
Exactly. You're not just like, oh, you know, we scrap together and let's do this. It's like this is the team that goes out and takes care of business. So I thought that was a really smart use of the like titles and things like that. So all in all, I think you can completely play this game without knowing a single bit about the story. And I think
100%.
that's perfectly fine.
I kind of wish character-wise that they had different kind of quirks. So, for instance, like, you know, somebody's really good at this, but they're more prone to the trauma that you have to go to the med
negative
thing.
perks?
Well, maybe not negative, but do you know how, like, it's like in some zombie stuff, like you'll have a character that's super strong or that isn't as scared as easily.
Well, they do have different perks.
But you said it's random when
No.
I asked you.
No, each one of them has actually like a set defined perks. Like what Evangelo has, I think, like 10% trauma resistance or something.
Yeah, and he can escape from a grab.
No, but you said when it comes to trauma and stuff, you said it's more random.
Oh no! What I was saying with the trauma, whenever your character's injured, if you get hit again while you have an injury, there's a chance you'll also gain trauma, and trauma permanently lowers your health. So like that's kind of random. And then you have the card system, which you can use to prevent that from happening, so you don't get as much trauma.
It would make sense that like some characters are faster, some are slower. things like that. I'm just saying, I think it would be cool, but
I'm not disagreeing with you, Liz. I think there would have been some cool features.
I'm talking negative.
Oh.
Negative features. You keep saying,
okay,
this person is better at this. No, I'm saying negative.
No, I see what you're saying, and I think that would have been kind of cool. Like, I don't know, maybe one of them has like a fear of fire. So when you're fighting a charged zombie, like they might, if it's a computer, maybe they have an issue. You know, they like cower, although the computer kind of always cowers. But like maybe like some functionality like that, I think that would have been really cool, and it would have made the characters feel a lot more personal than just spewing lines at each other as you run around this lifeless map that isn't really lifeless.
So I completely disagree with you guys. I think it'd be interesting, maybe story and banter wise, but gameplay wise, no, I think it'd be awful.
I just feel like it was kind of, you're playing a lot of the same missions and stuff. So for me, I think it would have been something to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Well, no, that's what the point of the AI director is. So every time you're playing the game, there's corruption cards. And these are the cards that the computer is playing against you, saying like, hey, now you're going to be going against zombies that run faster. Or you'll have zombies that have body armor on. And if like your character is weak against fire, there's eventually even fire zombies that when they hit you, they do fire damage. If you had a character, like if the director pulled that card on you while you have a character that takes extra fire damage, like that screws you over. You basically lose.
I'd say a good like 60% of the time I did not read the corruption cards.
Well, this is why you thought it was the same thing every time. Because yeah, you get corruption cards.
But
it's
it
like, hey,
still
there's gonna be
felt
extra.
the same though. So you're saying, this is why you think that, but it's like it still felt the same to me. So obviously it wasn't that much of a difference. I did like the extra cards where you have to do something additional, like don't scare any crows, which you were terrible at. You were always scaring. They were crows, right?
Yeah.
Some type of bird. Yeah.
But I will also say it's because you didn't get as far in the game. When you get to like Act 3 or 4, the final acts, that's when the game really throws a bunch of corruption cards at you that really just like really weigh you down. Or if you play on a harder difficulty, like it really starts to throw some heavy hitting cards on you.
I mean, that's something too that I think was a little weird. So the difficulty in this game, it was pretty hard. There was one that was towards the end of Act 1.
No,
right?
that was at the beginning.
No, it was the first set of 3,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the last. It was really hard, and then we did it again, and it was super easy. So because we kind of figured out our own tactic with it, but I thought the difficulty was kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah, you're talking about the ferry level where you had to run across a broken bridge.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing, but once I had played the level out really poorly, I had an idea of what to do, and so we did it super easy.
Yeah, but I think that's all part of it. Because I think back about when Andrew and Dave and I played this on the beta, where we did that exact level, and we had no clue what we were doing. We're just sitting around shooting things, and they just keep spawning on you, and we struggle bust for, I don't know, 3 or 4 turns, and then finally we're like, what if we just try to run across the bridge? And once you got what the level was and you put together some tactics to it, it got, I don't know, maybe not exponentially easier, but it was much easier. But then you do have that added factor that Andrew was mentioning of the AI director, or whatever it's called, where yeah, all of a sudden you think you've got it, but then we're going to throw a ton of sleeper zombies at you, and you're coming around these corners just constantly getting pinned to the ground. So a lot of those different cards that get played against you are what changed the difficulty immensely. Because some things, like I mentioned, I was not good at the sleepers. I would get hit by them a lot.
Yes, you would. That's why I always made sure I stayed close to you, because I'm like, gotta save Keith.
Thanks.
But yeah, the difficulty was kind of weird because, so me and Keith ended up beating it, the night before, and playing the final boss. Like there actually is a pretty significant boss fight in the end. We were playing it with some randoms, and like there was a couple times where it just felt like there was non-stop zombies spawning, and it's like we couldn't even fight the boss. We were just constantly just trying to fend off the basic enemy horde, and then eventually me and Keith were like, whatever, we'll just do me and you and just have 2 bots. And it was so much easier. I don't know if, I couldn't quite figure out if the director, if you're playing with real people, it throws more zombies at you. But it was weird that sometimes it felt like it was zombies. And then when it was just me and you, Keith, it was like, yeah, we killed 10. And then it was quiet for a good 30 seconds or so. And then maybe another 10 spawned. But it was so much more manageable.
Oh, I also wanted to bring up that level, with the Betty song. That level was so fun.
The bar fight?
Yes, when you're defending the bar. That was so much fun with the music going.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is one thing I'm really enjoying about Back 4 Blood compared to like Left 4 Dead. If you played Left 4 Dead, majority of the time you're just going from point A to point B. Up here's like a downed bridge or something, or you have to activate some sort of crane, and you basically have to defend the area, then keep progressing. That's how Left 4 Dead always did it. Back 4 Blood at least mixes up the formula a little bit. Sometimes you have to go rescue survivors. Sometimes you have to do a boss fight. And in this case, Liz is talking about, there's a bar fight, which is very reminiscent of Shaun of the Dead, if anyone's seen that movie. You basically hold up in a bar. You have to cause a massive distraction so survivors can get on a bus and leave. And yeah, when you play the jukebox, there's like 3 songs. I only noticed 3 different songs. And yeah, one of them is Black Betty, and it is absolutely so much fun. I wish they just did Black Betty, because it's such a fun song to be blasting hordes of zombies to.
I know it's a weird gripe, but I wish they got the rights to like the actual song being like a weird cover version of it. It was still awesome. I'm not disagreeing with you, but
I don't think there was a cover version.
It didn't sound like the real version. I could be totally wrong, but that didn't sound like the original to me. Isn't it ZZ Top who does the original?
No, I don't think so. No, Rain Jam. They're the band that did the original. Oh, that's right.
I don't know. I could be totally wrong. It didn't sound like the regular one. All I know is it was still awesome. I'm not complaining about it. I didn't hear any of the other ones, but it was like a perfectly fitting song for it.
Oh, thanks. So no, I actually looked up the amount of songs that are actually in the jukebox, and there's like a good 15. They have Ace of Spades from Motorhead. That actually would be a really good one. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Dangs, they actually have an amazing set list in this jukebox.
Oh, that is wicked cool.
That's crazy. Oh, Rusty Cage by Johnny Cash. Tick Tick Boom by the Hives. I wouldn't care for that one. But man, I played that level so many times, and I literally only heard 3. So that's kind of crazy.
You did too good of a job, so you missed out.
But yeah, I loved the missions in Back 4 Blood. I thought they were just... Some levels were very short, which I also enjoyed, and then some levels weren't very long, but they at least like definitely tested you. So I also loved kind of the diversity with Back 4 Blood, and I think it's also very impressive how many levels are in this. I probably should have looked it up, but I felt like when I played Left 4 Dead, there's like 6 chapters or something like that. I remember there not being very long. I remember beating it within like 6 hours with my friends, but it was meant to be like a game you just play over and over again. But for Back 4 Blood, there's like a ton of levels. Unfortunately, you do kind of revisit some areas, but to me, it didn't feel like backtracking. It kind of made sense to the world because, you're leaving the fort and, obviously you're leaving out the same front entrance. So it makes sense that you'll see some of the same areas. But yeah, I'm impressed how big this game is.
I also really like the weapons. So I started out with an assault rifle, and I pretty much stuck to that because I just love them. And I did something to it, or maybe I got a new one, but it was so different than the original assault rifle that I had.
Yeah, you got a different one. I lied to you. I thought it was the same one, but it was a different one.
Yeah, but you have different attachments. So I, for some reason, did really bad with the zoom scope in something like this. But I loved the guns. I love that you had the throwables. I will say, I think control-wise, I really struggled. I could not remember that right stick was melee. And so Andrew'd be like, he's got me. And I'd be like, crap. So I don't know why the controls didn't feel right to me. I think that's just something wrong with me, but I did love the weapons.
I agree with you, Liz. I loved the weapons too. I remember, I think I said this in the preview. I was for me, I was like, this is too many weapons. They have a good, I feel 40 weapons. And I was like, this is way too much. Because in Left 4 Dead, there's maybe 10. But I loved the diversity of these weapons. They all felt different, but they all felt nice. There wasn't a single gun, maybe the Barrett sniper rifle, that I would hate to have. Oh, nope. I hated the Belgian. It was the double barrel shotgun that you had as your secondary. That gun sucked.
But you're always finding weapons, and there's also the shop at the beginning too. So if you go a run and you don't like it, and I love the shop, but you're getting intel cards as you're completing levels too. You'll just randomly find them, and so for me, I didn't switch. If I found a gun that I really liked, I just didn't switch. I just liked it too much. But yeah, I really like that.
I think it really depended on the run. If I was, I mean, it's hard because the way that the game system works or the run system works is you may actually just complete one all the way through. You may not. you can, play through a couple levels and restart halfway through an act if I'm correct on that. So it just like, I felt like, yes, if I started with a gun from the beginning, I was getting all these really cool attachments, I might hold on to it. But if my attachments were and I didn't feel like it was a huge difference, but there is a like tier system to your items where it starts out just like a lot of any RPG or looter shooter, where you have the gray named and then it goes to green and blue and then purple. So if I'm walking around and I have this gray level or white named weapon from the second level, and then I come across the exact same gun with maybe a few less attachments, it's a purple, I'm pretty much going to pick that up late game. So yeah, I all in all though, I agree with Andrew. The amount of weapons in this were so much fun. Everything felt like it was all useful. I didn't really use the pistols, but because I just didn't want to, and also I used a lot of SMGs, so I needed that ammo. But I loved the melee weapons. They felt like so powerful and just so much fun to just run up to a horde of like 7 or 8 zombies and just whack, and boom, you clear the whole thing with one baseball swing. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, what makes the weapons so fantastic in this game is the card system. I cannot believe how much I love this card system in this game. So Keith, yeah, this is what you're talking about, which is kind of like a roguelike element to it. The card system, you are essentially creating a 15-card deck that as you're playing, every time you're going through a level, you're drawing one of these cards, and it's essentially just a perk. And the card system is so much fun, because you can really build decks depending on, what weapon do you like? What play style do you do? Do you want to be a healer? Do you want to be someone who is great at scavenging money or ammo? Do you want to be someone who's great at melee? Do you want to be someone who's really good at shotguns? The card system is so much fun. I have like a really fun shotgun deck that I have that, as I'm killing people, I'm gaining health. I can carry 2 weapons, a melee deck where, as I'm swinging, I'm healing. Also, I can heal my teammates that are close near me while I'm using a melee weapon. The perks are so much fun.
I liked being the healer, and then I built my deck around that because I'm not the greatest shot, and so
you weren't bad.
I like being able to help in other ways. So like with the healer, I think you get 1 free heal per member.
Yeah, if you play the duck cleaner.
Yeah. So I did that a lot, just to feel more useful.
Yeah, what I liked about it too is that in one sense, I felt like I was sitting there thinking, man, I should go look up and see like what the best deck builds are, how do I want to build this? But everything feels simple enough that you don't need to do that. So I really liked that aspect of it. And then I just liked that I could name the decks, because I had one called Poop Snacks, because I don't know, it felt fun. And then
because you're mature.
I am basically a grown 12-year-old. But then I had my all Braun deck, which I called LeBron James. So I just had a lot of fun with the card system.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Keith, where it's easy to kind of piece together what you want. Like, hey, if I'm doing a melee deck, it's really easy to kind of go through the deck and seeing cards that are like, this one heals you when you melee. You gain stamina when you get kills with a melee weapon. So it was easy to do it. I think the most important thing is figuring out what order you get them, because when you draw your cards, they're not random. You draw your cards in order from 1 to 15.
Are you serious?
So, yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Which kind of stinks, because you're getting the more basic cards at the beginning, and then as you go along, you're getting better and better cards.
Yeah.
So you'd have to redo your whole deck. I think it'd be better if it was random, or if like you could just like bounce them around. Because you can remove them, but I didn't see a way to do that.
I don't know, cause I feel like there must be, but at the same time, I didn't look because I didn't know that order of the cards mattered. I just went left to right across my screen to be like, I like that card, I like that card, I like that card.
I'm sure there is a way. I just,
You can't remove them, yeah.
No, but I'm saying switch them around.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
If you hold the X button, it says you can grab it and move it up the list.
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it occurs to me now, because I was sitting there last night at one point, and I kind of noticed, I was like, man, I feel like I keep getting the same ones over and over again. And now I know why. Oh, did they tell you this somewhere?
Yes.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I actually remember that.
Okay.
I read something in this
on
game.
that one then.
Oh, well, this actually brings up a point that I want to bring up. And I think this game does a pretty bad job at teaching you how to play this game. I remember we talked about this during the preview, Keith, but I do not remember in the preview that they had videos. In this one, they at least have tutorial videos. But actual in-game tutorial, this game does an awful job.
Yeah, you told me not to bother, and so I just jumped in a game with you, and you told me how to do everything.
Yeah, because the tutorial, it says, hey, do you want to play the tutorial with, people online or like solo? And honestly, the tutorial is just playing the first level. Like, that's it. And it really didn't like go through steps with you. This is how you jump. This is how you crouch. This is how you shoot. None of that. It was very much just go at it.
Did it do any actual like tool tips or anything? Because I think I played through it, but I can't remember.
I think some tooltips on some stuff, yes. It'll like pop up a text box, but that's about it on some things, but not all. And there's a lot of intricacies in this game that you kind of have to learn and figure out, because when you're first getting thrown in, it's kind of trial by fire.
Yeah, and each time the first time you go to a different vendor, I think it gives you some sort of an overview. But I think that's what you're talking about, is that it kind of like gives you a little like video clip, but it explains it. Yeah, there's not much to it, but I felt like, I don't know, again, there is a lot, but there isn't, because outside of the decks of cards, everything is really just cosmetic that you change. So I wasn't really concerned with running around to each and all the vendors other than the supply lines and the intel builder, so that I could get new cards and I could build them. So there's intricacies, but again, I think it's also super simple at the same time.
A little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, see a zombie, shoot zombie. That's kind of what you're doing, so
yeah,
just don't suck at that.
And definitely, like, all the upgraded weapons and everything help. But when you jump into a game and you take over for a bot, bots don't pick up weapons from what I can tell, so they always have just this stock crappy weapon, and you can jump into a game and still play. You are going to struggle a little more than maybe if you've played through the whole run with the people you're joining in with, but largely you could still participate and be effective. So I thought that it was nice that way.
Another negative I kind of want to bring up, because we're talking a little bit about it, is the AI.
Yeah.
How dumb they are.
The AI is
and
rough.
It's like so Andrew just explained to me, because we thought that there was friendly fire in the first level of difficulty.
Yeah, the easy difficulty.
Yeah, but it turns out there isn't, but they still just keep saying like, oh, you hit me, and then sometimes you're snarky and you're like, don't run in front of me. It happened all the time because the AI is really dumb. They'd get stuck a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just me, because my Xbox is older, so I had a lot of like rubber banding and weird stuff happening, but I guess it's actually common with everybody.
Oh, that's just server issues. There was a little server issues when we were playing.
Oh, I just assume it's my Xbox.
Nah, their servers crashed on us one time. We were able to reconnect.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, but the AI in general like really isn't good. So sometimes they can't help at all because they're stuck in a wall. So
yeah, the AI ranges from being relatively competent to being completely boneheads. Like, there's sometimes the AI literally is just jumping while literally a horde of zombies is just chewing them apart, and he's just sitting there jumping.
Or someone's down and they don't.
They
pick
literally
them up.
stand on top of you and don't revive you, and I'm just screaming at my monitor, telling them to get me up. But yeah, the AI is just not great.
I think the real important question is, what's going to happen first? Is Liz going to get a new Xbox, or am I going to get my backbone? Hashtag buy Keith a backbone.
Backbone.
That's the controller for the phone, so you can play on the xCloud.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for the day to someone buy me one. That's all.
You're talking about needing a backbone, and I was like, that means something else too.
I mean, I probably don't have one of those either, but yeah, I think the AI was definitely questionable at best. And the thing about that, Liz, though, is I agree with you, because at least in the sense of, we thought we had all this friendly fire happening the whole time. I largely think the reason they do that is, like Andrew and I were talking about this last night, is I think it's sort of a training in a sense. Is if you're used to being like, hey, I don't want to shoot them because they're going to yell at me every time I do them, even though there's no penalty, you're kind of getting that muscle memory down, so that when you go into those harder levels and friendly fire isn't disabled, because that's all it is. It's just that on the rookie or recruit setting, it's disabled, so you can't actually damage your team.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just, for me, I would say a solid, like 87% of the time, it was the friendly fire was not my fault. It was somebody running in front of me. I mean, occasionally it would happen, but I feel like that's also why I don't want to say this because I am just bad, but I feel like I didn't do as much damage too, because people were always running in front of me, and I'm just like, I don't want to hit anybody. But then again, I could have jumped on a car. And it would have been, I wouldn't have to worry about that. So I guess, I don't know.
But actually, since you guys mentioned a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about the difficulties. So there's 3 difficulties: Recruit, Nightmare, and Hell, I believe it was. And me and Keith learned real quick. Keith, this is the first time Keith first started. I jumped into his game, and it says in the description, oh, Recruit, this is for people who are like new to first-person shooters. And then, Nightmare, oh, this is for people who are relatively competent with first-person shooters. So Keith's like, oh, okay, we're going to play on that difficulty. I don't know why they did the description like that, because Back 4 Blood is meant to be played. You're supposed to play through all of the easy difficulty in Recruit and be able to earn enough cards to build a good deck and then play on harder difficulties. So me and Keith tried, the medium difficulty, and we got slaughtered right out of the gate.
No, we almost made it to the last safe room, and I think we died on the last zombie that was there.
Oh, that's actually right. I'm surprised. I actually forgot about. Well, we first were bombing. No, didn't we fail the first run, and then we did a continue, and then we did better?
Yeah. Either way,
I think is what happened.
Either way, we did almost make it on one of them, but we almost made it through one level, and boy, were we limping to that finish line because we also did not make it.
I noticed that with Andrew and I, when we played, all the times that we died, it's because we separated.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta stick together.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to lose.
But so this is kind of one thing that's unfortunately kind of a negative with Back 4 Blood. If you unfortunately do not have a group of 3 friends to play with, you're kind of in for a bad time. You can get by with Recruit, playing on the easy difficulty. Just with the bots, you could do relatively well. You can make it. But it's easy to connect with randos. You can play, it's crossplay, so you can play with people on PC. I don't know about PlayStation, but you can at least do PC. So, there's quite a bit of people to play with. And, getting randos is, of course, a mixed bag. You get some people who literally go AFK. This reminds me, they need to patch this. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, they patch this. There is no kick feature. So if you have someone who's AFK and they're sitting back there, you can't beat the level. Everyone has to get to the safe room, and you just have to wait, which is like a good 30 minutes for the AFK time to kick them out. Ooh. It is way too long, and you cannot boot people. It is awful. Anyway, that just reminded me.
AFK timer would be good, but if it's 30 minutes or so, even if
it's a little of exaggeration. But it is at least a good 10 to 15 minutes. It's quite a while.
So do you think solo just should have been different? Like, it had like an actual like story kind of thing, and had it different than the like multiplayer?
Yes. Well, because solo you don't earn any of the supply line points.
Yes.
And so you can't buy new cards. So it's really irrelevant. That's I think if I'm right, I think that's already a big complaint from just a lot of people about this game, but I couldn't agree with more. It's because before Andrew and I started playing, I jumped into solo mode, and I was like, oh, this will be good. I don't mind playing with random people online, but I just kind of wanted to dip into the game a little bit and start trying it before I jumped into some online. So I thought, oh, this will be cool. I got about 3 missions in, and Andrew joins my party. He's like, you're not doing solo, are you? No. Yes. Why? And yeah, then he broke the bad news to me that I had just wasted the last 45 minutes. I mean, I had fun, so I guess I didn't totally waste it. I just wasted it in terms of game progress.
Yeah. So if you play the game, here's a tip. Do not just pick solo campaign, because, you will not earn supply points, so you won't earn any cards. It really is just meant to be kind of a practice mode. But if you actually do want to play solo and with bots and actually earn points, there's a couple different ways. I know with me and Liz, we were playing 2 players. If you go to preference, you can turn on private lobby. If you turn that on, I think you can just create a solo game with bots, and it's considered multiplayer. But Liz was able, me and Liz were able to join, just me and her, 2 bots, and we were making, supply points just fine. So I don't know why they did that. I understand they're encouraging this is supposed to be a multiplayer game, but it's just still at least give people something if they want to do solo, especially since the bots are awful.
Yeah, and I don't know. But I think we found out that at least from what I saw, I think I agree fully that it makes the game easier when it's not a full lobby, cuz I felt like every time we had 4, there just always seemed to be spots where zombies just didn't stop coming.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're really into this game, like I said, unfortunately, you have to have a party of 4 if you want to play. You can maybe get away with some randoms on medium difficulty, but if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you absolutely need to be a group of 4 of your friends, coordinate your decks, fully communicating with each other. So that's kind of a little bit unfortunate, but
I I mean, or if you play random, you can find people. I mean, people do have mics.
Yeah.
We just had our microphones off for the game, so I definitely saw in the corner like names popping up. I think people do talk in this game. So I think you're
yeah.
kind of really glossing over like, no, if you don't have people that you know, do not do this. Like, I think do it, and you'll figure out how good you are or aren't at the game, but also as you progress, you play this game enough, you're probably going to play for a while with if you find yourself a good group of people, like any game of randoms. So yes, you can still play it without friends. You just have to be willing to play random.
You guys are.
I mean, trust me, I don't
Generally antisocial.
I don't generally like to join random parties, but I've done it. Plenty of times. The amount of hours I played on Overwatch with just random people. Oh man, even on chat too. Just yeah, you hear things out there, man.
Liz, how many randoms did you play with?
I wasn't the one talking about it.
Call it us antisocial.
I talked to people on Sea of Thieves. That counts, right?
Kind of. I remember you screaming at me.
See,
like, there's people on the boat. They're like, this is a girl.
I think the funny difference between Andrew and I just not liking to talk to random people and Liz not liking to is Andrew and I just talk about dumb stuff that aren't the games. And you can't really do that with just random people or everyone is going to hate you. Like, I don't care about your dog. I mean, I do, but like also kill zombies and stuff.
I know. Like yesterday telling you how our daughter fell in the lake. It's like nobody random people want to hear that story.
Yeah.
That sounds really dark the way you said it.
She's fine.
When she fell to the bottom of the ocean, it was so hilarious.
I said lake. It was 1 foot of water. But there is actually another game mode. I don't know if you guys played it at all, but did you guys try the Swarm game mode?
I did. I only played one round and I won, so I didn't really need to. I
undefeated, retired, champion.
I got my pro invite and I said, sorry, I can't do that. I'm retiring from the game. I'm going out undefeated. But it was really fun. The problem is that there was levers on the team. I'm not going to say which team had them, but there was levers in the game, and it made the game less fun. But at the same time, like if it could do so, I guess I would say if it could do some type of fill system so that you always had people there, then I think it would be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So what is it? I didn't play it.
The Swarm game mode. So essentially, it's 4v4. There's 4 survivors and 4 zombies, and basically the survivors are stuck in a small area, and essentially the ring is closing in on the survivors, and the other 4 zombies are picking one of the specialty zombies, and you're just trying to kill the survivors as quick as you can. And it's basically who can survive the longest. So a timer's ticking up, and whoever has the highest time of a team that survived the longest wins the round. And first person to win 2 rounds wins the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was a nice distraction, but that's the best I could describe it. It was just kind of a fun distraction. I like it still gave you supply points, so it wasn't not worth your time, but it was just a fun distraction. That's all.
It would be, it would be kind of cool, and I don't know, maybe it has it, is if you could do private lobbies with that, and again, kind of the same idea. If you could do like 2v2 with your friends, if you had a group of 4, or if you actually have like a wider group of people that you want to just all play with, that would make it one of the few games you could play in a real big group. But
it actually would be pretty cool. The one thing I think is a little disappointing with it, though, in Left 4 Dead, they had essentially you're playing the campaign, and the enemy zombies are basically trying to stop the people from progressing through the campaign. They don't have it in this yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they patch eventually and come out with that game mode, but right now it's just an arena kind of based game mode and not, survivors trying to run and get to the point while the zombies are stopping them.
Yeah, I forgot about that game mode. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, our friend Max was complaining about that he thought that's what the game mode was, and so it was just like, that's a good point. I wouldn't surprise me if they come out with it eventually, since these are the people who created Left 4 Dead. But one thing I remember we talked about a little bit in the preview. I was very underwhelmed with the graphics in the preview and the beta. I completely take it back now. I think the graphics for Back 4 Blood is much better. See, and that's what I assumed. I assumed since it was a beta, the graphics were maybe toned down a little bit. But overall in Back 4 Blood, I really like the graphics. Keith, you made a decent point, though, on some of the graphics.
Yeah, there's definitely certain points that you're like, I don't want to say necessarily wowed by the graphics, but it's a beautiful, it like feels like a real, I don't know, post-apocalyptic world. And I love the look and feel. But then there's just these random graphics, like the slime that monsters spit out every now and then. It's just this weird green hazy bubbles, and it just looks awful, and it looks so like almost 360 and out of place. And I wish they didn't do that, or they found a better way to do it, I guess.
There's one thing with the graphics that, for me, I think is very impressive. So yes, you're fighting a lot of the same zombies, but they did a fantastic job with the common zombies that you're fighting. Like, they have there's a lot of like diversity between the zombies. Yes, they're all the same height. They all look relatively generic, but like they all have different outfits. You're not seeing the same exact zombie in the massive crowd of people. Like, every single zombie, has a different shirt, different pants, maybe some different wounds on them, or different, how much the worms are coming out of their skin. They all looked very different in a way that, like, it didn't wear me down. Yes, the specialty zombies looked the same, but I think that makes sense because you want to be able to prioritize the special zombies. Like, this one's going to pin you. This one's just going to vomit on you. You want to kill the one that's going to pin you because that one will really take your team out. So it makes sense that the specialty zombies all look the same.
I think it's interesting because I did like the graphics, but that was something that a lot of people didn't like when I was looking up reviews and stuff. There was a lot of complaint about the graphics. And I will say, when there were a ton of hordes, I did see like some of them just kind of looked like shadow people. They didn't have any definition and stuff. And so I felt like maybe, but I do feel like it went from really good to not so great. But I think overall the environments, the characters that you're playing, all of that, I think it's great. It's just that one thing that I didn't like is when there'd be a swarm at night, and sometimes they looked like dark gray with eyes.
Are you playing like on the old Xbox One S or the One X at least? Because the
One X.
Oh, One X?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm on. I was gonna say I know the Series X is obviously gonna look even more crisp and better than mine, but I don't feel like I noticed too much of that.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I said earlier, I was having a lot of issues with like rubber banding. The AI would just suddenly appear in front of me, like randomly. It was really weird. I had a lot of issues. But looking at the zombies outside of that, I did think they looked good. I mean, I genuinely like the graphics. I like the atmosphere.
Yeah, and usually in zombie games, like Andrew's saying, they just almost pare it down to this, like, it's the one male coming at you. It's like always disintegrated and not really, and I wouldn't even see it, and some days it's not even male, just they make it like gender neutral and everything, which is fine. But there was like, I don't know, yeah, there's male, female, zombie females, and like actual diversity right down to the clothes and everything. It was really impressive, and I thought that made it feel more real, that you weren't just like, all right, cool, everything's the same, like real people never even lived here and became zombies.
But also with the graphics too, the thing that it kind of impressed me, since there's so many levels, I actually liked the kind of diversity of locales that you go to. At one point you go to a high school, you're in a gymnasium. At one point too, you're going across, it's called the Clog. It's essentially just a big wreckage of ships. You're walking on water on all these crashed ships, and there's a plane crashed among them. There's like some cars here and there because it's a bridge that's also collapsed. I thought the locales were really impressive. Some of them, yes, you are walking through, generic looking forest, generic looking farmland. You still got some of those, but I at least, applaud them that they, mixed it up a little bit here and there.
Oh, I was gonna say, I almost liked some of those generic levels the most though, because they were just the most random in terms of like, you never knew where anything was going to pop out of. And so it just made the fights a little more interesting. So yeah. I thought those levels were kind of cool in a way.
I also like that graphically, when for instance, if there's coins, things like that, it was very simple. Like I knew exactly like what was there, and I knew that something was there. And same with some of the levels, you have to what's it called? You take the planks, you board up, you board up the windows, and so for me, yeah, I know, right? And so but the planks would because I mean, sometimes I'm so unobservant. There could be a pile of wood right next to me. I'd have no idea, but it had like kind of
even though
it's
glow. Highlighted.
That's the word, highlighted.
Killing it, Liz.
I'm so good at explaining things.
I'm good at words.
Another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I actually really enjoyed the animations too. The reload animations you had for some of the guns are really cool looking.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if you guys noticed it.
I did. No, well, because the mags, like the way the mags and stuff changed, it actually would change how you reloaded, like almost like Call of Duty style. You'd have the two taped together, so you'd have like an SMG where you'd pull it out, flip it around, and then use the underside of the barrel you were using. So I thought that one was really cool, and I don't know, I always remembered the M249 there, the giant LMG that you carried around, because you like load an actual chain of bullets into it. So it was kind of cool.
But yeah, the guns also, what impressed me is the overall sounds. The guns all sound really cool. When someone in your team has the Barrett sniper rifle, you know it. You can hear that thing like a mile away.
I like the big gun that is just stationary. So
the minigun.
When you're defending a place, I loved that thing.
You struggled at first because you didn't realize you had to hold it. You're like, nothing's happening.
But then when I got it...
yeah, then you got it. Then you just kept mowing everyone down.
That was when I would have the most amount of damage.
Yeah.
I do. Well.
But it was unfortunate. I remember we talked about this during the preview, Keith, that in Left 4 Dead, they had some really scary looking zombies, specifically the witch. You would hear her cry, and then if you woke her up, you were hearing her scream. There wasn't anything too terrifying in Back 4 Blood and this time around, which I think is a little unfortunate. But it kind of makes sense, I guess, a little bit, because clearly they're going for a more lighthearted vibe, a little more comedy, just kind of something not so doom and gloom.
But I think, too, there were some scary elements. Like, when you're walking through the woods, like, something can come at you from any angle.
Yeah.
And so I think that in some of the environments, it was kind of spooky because you're like, when are they coming? You know that they're there, but...
You can hear big ones stomping. That's true. You can hear those in the distance, just boom, 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 getting closer.
And then that's usually when I realized that I was, like, separated from the group a bit, and I'd be like, wait for me! So I do think that there was, like, that scary element.
No, I loved the sound elements to this game. I thought they were really cool. I do wish that, yes, they had brought back some of those like kind of really creepy ones about it. But all in all, I think they did an amazing job with it. And I thought the game, like the gun sounds like you were talking about, I was like, oh, I almost felt like I was playing like a Call of Duty Zombies at times, because it just like the guns sounded right. They almost felt right too. It was all very well done. And even then the music, which I think was pretty infrequent. Again, outside of the
there was always kind
level,
of there was some going in the background, like, but it's pretty
ambient,
quiet.
Yeah. So like but you didn't need it, and other than the jukebox level, which was just a ton of fun. Just kind of killing zombies to a beat. It was a lot of fun. So I like sound and musical of this game just as much as everything else, I'd say.
I like when you get the horde notification. You hear the zombies in the distance screaming. You know a horde's coming. You got to prepare. That's cool.
I think sometimes the Doom music would carry on when all the zombies had left, and you're like, is something still here? And there wouldn't be anything there. Yeah. And then Andrew pointed out to me, I was trying to remember the voice actor, but he's from Community.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah,
he was in one episode of Community.
Such a good voice actor for this. I love that pick.
Yeah, he was the general of Fort Hope.
I still don't know if I know who Michael Ironside is.
He was in the Community episode where they mimicked CSI, and they were doing the courtroom against Todd, and they had the potatoes.
Or yams.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're yams. Yeah, Michael Ironside was the guy defending Todd.
Okay.
The general.
Yeah, that's the guy that like shows up in things all the time. I'm like, oh, I recognize him, but I don't know his name. And so then when you say his name, I'm like, I don't know who that is.
If anyone's a big fan of the Splinter Cell series, he was the original voice of Sam Fisher from the Splinter Cell series as well. So he's done video game voice acting before.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I was going to say, did you look it up, or does he just sound like him?
Oh, no, I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Splinter Cell series, so...
No, I mean, did you look up to make sure like he's the actual voice actor?
Yeah.
You can leave this part out.
No, he is.
I just realized like I didn't actually fact check it myself.
Because the last Splinter Cell game, they actually got a different voice actor, and so many people were disappointed. And like a year or so later, Michael Ironside came on for like some sort of interview, and that was the first thing he said. He goes, "I am the one true Sam Fisher," and I thought it was pretty cool. Because even he was kind of disappointed that he wasn't invited to do the voice again on the last game. But anyway, that's a random tangent. But speaking of voice acting, though, did it ever annoy you hearing your characters? For me, there was one specific line, and it was whoever played Hoffman, or Dwight, as I always call him. If he uses a bat, he constantly says, "See, Dad, I could have made the team." Constantly. I heard that line so many times. It was so annoying.
That was really annoying because I was playing as Hoffman for a while. And
I played the doctor a lot, and she didn't really sound like I felt like she never had the right emotion.
But yeah, some of the voice dialogue to me was a bit repeating. That got a little annoying.
Oh, I was gonna say, didn't Doc keep talking about how could have just opened up or she just wanted a successful business or something like that?
Yeah, and the line for me, the line that was annoying for her is, "I'm not a happy bunny."
Oh,
she said that a lot, and that got annoying.
I don't think I heard that as much, but I also wasn't playing as her, so.
Oh, she was my number one. I played the most.
I think she might be actually the only character I didn't beat a level with, because I'm pretty positive I didn't get that achievement, but I don't think I got many.
Typical Keith, not being a healer.
That is a bold-faced lie. You played many hours of Overwatch with me as a healer.
Oh, that's true. You loved Moira.
I sure did.
But you know what isn't annoying? The achievements.
I
don't think that's going to transition well.
No, because that actually is. You make a good point. The achievements in this game are actually pretty good.
I love seeing them pop up a lot.
Yeah,
and
it feeds you a lot.
Yeah, I didn't put in as many hours as you guys, and I feel like I didn't do as well, but they just kept coming.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just beating the game.
Yeah, a little bit. But not only that, there's quite a bit of like doing a specific thing, but you naturally kind of do it a lot.
Yeah, killing a lot of enemies while being downed. I got that one right away.
It didn't take me long for that.
But yeah, no, the achievements are like, it feeds you quite a bit. Yeah, you got a couple where you have to beat the levels on the harder difficulties. That one's going to take you some time. So if you're an achievement hunter, I would overall, I guess, recommend this game. Just don't expect 1,000. If you're going to 1,000 it, it's probably going to take you about 33 hours is what the clock time is saying. But the main game, you're looking at about 18 hours. So overall, it's not terribly long of a game, and you're going to get quite a bit of achievements just by going through it. I've just beaten the game on recruit difficulty, and I'm at over like 580 or so for gamer score. But yeah, the achievements overall are very easy. You just kind of look them up. There's a handful where you have to find like a hidden object, which is really cool. I like that the game did that. There's these little gold skulls that are hidden in like 10 different levels. And all you have to go up to them and press X, and boom, there's your achievement. But I love that they had these little Easter eggs you can find. These are fun achievements.
Yeah, I think I just checked. I got 385, and that's with skipping some of the middle acts because I was playing on yours, like when I beat the game and everything. So I have like a weird smorgasbord of different achievements throughout the different acts that are not consistent. But yeah, I think it's worth the playthrough at the very least on those lower level difficulties. Get everything you can, and then if you really like it and you want to push for those achievements, go for it. But you're gonna get good chunk just in the probably 10 hours of playing the game or so.
But just a little bit of info when it comes to achievements, though. Some achievements pop when you actually play the game, but majority of the achievements will not pop for you until you head back to the hub world. So I remember that was scaring us sometimes. We're like, oh, these achievements glitched, because I definitely just did that. But then as soon as you exit your game, go to the hub world, it's just achievement.
That was the best
cool
feeling. Yeah, I don't know if that was an intentional thing or not, but once I knew it was going to happen, I looked forward to getting back to the camp. I was like, oh man, I'm going to see how many things are going to pop up. And it would just be like popping up, and it's a good feeling.
I think the reason it does that is because there's actually in-game accomplishments where you actually have other challenges you can do. And if you earn that accomplishment is when the achievement pops. But yeah, so if you want to, go above and beyond in this game, there's in-game accomplishments, kill a certain amount of enemies, kill like snitches without them alarming other zombies. Those will just kind of give you in-game cosmetics and stuff like that. And of course, some of them give you achievements. But there's like 144 of those, but only like 40 achievements. But getting into our final thoughts. So I know I've probably talked this game to death now. But for me, I absolutely loved Back 4 Blood. I think it was a ton of fun. It's so much fun if you have a group of friends, just to it's relaxing, just mowing down hordes of zombies, throwing grenades, just fighting through all these like blood and guts. It's a ton of fun to play with friends. Playing by yourself, you're probably not going to have as good of a time, but you still will have a pretty fun, relaxing time. Unless, the bots are doing something really boneheadish and then you're screaming at your monitor. But it's at least nice if you die, you can take over one of the bots so you can kind of keep going. I loved the card system in this game. It is so much fun, and it really lets you kind of have this fun, creative flexibility with the game. Weapons are great. For me, I just wish there was a little more story. I wish, some of the difficulty spikes weren't too bad. I wish the AI was better. But it is still just a solid, fun time. I'm going to give it a 90.
So, yeah, I don't really have much bad to say about this game. I think I've really liked everything about it. My small gripe with the graphics was, some toxic slime on the ground that didn't look really good. But everything else just felt like a world, and it felt like a post-apocalyptic one that actually felt lived in, and it was just interesting, and I liked how it played. I liked that it was roguelike elements and a first-person shooter, but kind of... No, not RPG, but it had so many elements that I liked. I think, you could add some fun things onto the multiplayer, but I can't think of much I would improve on this game otherwise, so I think I give it a 94 blood. Does that work? Is it the thing?
Back 94 blood.
I was going to start with that, but I was thinking that sounded too weird, so just 94 blood.
I struggle with thinking of a score because I don't blame the game that I had trouble kind of getting into it. I really think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if there was a solo that had a ton of story, because I really wanted to learn more about the characters. They looked really cool, and I don't know. I think I'm going to give it an 80. I feel like that's low, but I also I wasn't thrilled with my time, but I liked it, I don't know what to give it. I do think it's a good game, but I don't know.
Well, you just hurt the developers' feelings because they are definitely listening to this. They put a lot of time and hard work into this.
I don't know. You guys gave such high scores. But looking at Metacritic, Xbox One, TBD, there's one critic review with 75 and users 6.3.
What?
Xbox Series X, 75 and 6.8. A lot of people had issues with this game. And some of them, one person said unbalanced and difficult. There was a lot of complaints about difficulty. A lot of complaints about the AI getting stuck in place.
Yeah.
No split screen was a very common complaint.
That's people who wanted this to be exactly like Left 4 Dead is what that is.
Yeah. And then another really big one is the price. Which it's weird that they were writing it under Xbox, but they were saying the PlayStation price. But there were so many comments about how expensive it is, and the game isn't worth that price.
That's why Game Pass is such a beautiful thing.
That's why Game Pass is better. This Xbox is better because you got Game Pass. But yeah, one of our listeners, his kind of quick synopsis of this game too, I think he kind of nails it right here. Our longtime listener, Rune, he says, it's a ton of fun if you're playing with friends. It's a headache if you're playing with randoms. And it's simply not very fun if you play with bots. And I think that's true.
Sounds very wise.
I like it. Did anyone complain that it wasn't translated into French? Or that there was turds by chance?
No.
This is too new of a game. He wouldn't have played it yet. And this isn't an indie game, so he wouldn't have played it either.
It's true. It's not a pixelated turd.
I kind of want this to be a movie. Bringing that back.
You've been holding that in all game.
Man, a zombie movie? That's an idea.
But you know what? I actually
they made it a TV series instead.
I'm actually quite squeamish when it comes to zombie movies. There's something about that chomping sound. I really just don't like. Chomp. Yeah, I struggle with zombie stuff, but I feel like I would watch this.
So if they had a goofy sounding chomp, it literally went nom 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 every time.
Yeah, I think that would be easier. The thing is, I actually do like quite a bit of zombie movies, but I struggle when I watch them. So.
Fun fact.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from because a lot of zombie movies push too much of the gore.
Yes.
Let's watch 20 minutes of them eat intestines.
I would 1,000% want a zombie movie that was scary and then get minus 75% of the gore that's in the new movies.
But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us this week. If you would like to write us a game recommendation. We are at gamepassgrabbag@gmail.com. We are also on Twitter at GBGBpod and Facebook at GBGBpod. I will be posting on our Facebook and our Twitter what game we are playing next. If you have tried these games, please write us a comment or an email, wherever you want. Tell us your review. We will read it on the podcast so other listeners can hear from you. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird0952.
I've been Keith, and dang it, I don't have anything good this week. Sorry, everybody. Love you. Bye.
And I'm Liz Noob, gamertag ComeOnMD, and I'm on Twitter at Liz Noob. Noob is EW.
This is one of our quickest wrap-ups.
Nice.
Thank you, and I just ruined it. Thank you all so much for joining us. We love you all. We'll see you again next week.